off by saying hello to everyone. So my name's Megan. Cynthia.
Louise.
Debbie. And I'm Ellie.
This workshop is going to be all about global identities and digital rights.
So this workshop today is going to seek to understand digital identities. You'll discover what your digital identity is, and we'll negotiate, and we'll show you how different cultures negotiate. It will also be to learn about creating an understanding of how innovation comes from your global identity.
So this part of the workshop is to do with social media platforms around the world. Now I've got a little sheet here for you guys to fill out. If you get out a pen, please, that would be great. Can you just pass it along?
Nothing.
So guys, coming back to the discussion, what does everybody think? Anybody have any thoughts on social, or how they perceive different countries to perceive different posts? Anybody have any thoughts?
I've got the UK Snapchat, first and foremost.
Okay.
I've got Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook is actually the world's most popular social network, so it's quite an interesting fact. Anybody else got any?
China have their own social platforms, so when I think of China, I think of different platforms rather than Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. They've got tailor-made ones. I'm not quite sure what they are.
Yeah. The whole idea of this activity is to see actually how much you know about these different countries and how much you perceive social identity in these different countries. So I'll just read off a few quick fun facts for you. So as, what's your name, sorry?
Sammy.
As Sammy said, in China, Twitter and Instagram are both blocked. So they use QQ and WeChat, which are actually the most popular social networks in China.
Facebook is blocked.
Most social media networks are blocked in China. So they don't particularly want their own, this is where they are.
Is it government?
It is
I
government.
don't think they chose. I
government.
don't think they chose. They don't want to have.
No, it's the government that has blocked it.
Yeah. It's censorship.
It is true.
They don't want all of our evil Westerners.
Yes.
Basically.
So the implications of it, obviously we have a lot of Chinese students in the International Business School, and when we circulate marketing, circulate media, create assessments around digital platforms, create Facebook, they don't know what it is. And for kind of the westernized cultures, that is shocking. They can't believe people are on Facebook, you know. So actually that is one of the cultural identity technological things we need to be aware of, especially if you're in the marketing world or even in the education world.
Especially if you're a student and you're trying to connect with other students, or lecturers and trying to get students to connect, you know, it's very important that you need to know about these things, because if it's a student saying, I don't know how to communicate with my other members, but that might be good because if they haven't heard of these social networks and things like that before you actually get them into it. So both in Russia and Brazil, they've got they're very concerned about identity theft through social media. Someone taking someone else's identity on social media. While in the UK and the US, we're more worried about the lack of control of social media. So we're not worried about someone stealing our identity, we're just worried about how well it's controlled. And the most shared videos on Indian social media are film trailers and sort of homemade videos. In Canada, over 45% of people read blogs. So it's not just sort of that video. People actually want to read content instead of just sort of seeing quick snippets like what we see in the UK. And over 21% of the population listen to podcasts. Now there are risks with all the social media, which I did have a look at, and because of how many passwords and usernames we now have, we're actually getting identity fatigue. Yes, we're getting identity fatigue. We're experiencing where because we're being all these different people on these different networks, we're tired of being all these people on these different networks. So what we really want to work out is how do you perceive a person's online identity, and how do you perceive different countries' social media. And that will lead my field to the next slide.
So The next slide is on how social media is perceived around the world. So, your identity in real life is defined by the Oxford Dictionary as the fact of being who or what a person or thing is. Whereas your online identity is the personalities created through a person's online interactions. So it's not just the account you have, it's who you're talking to, it's who you follow, that makes your online identity. Your online identity may differ from the person's actual identity offline, which gives you the anonymity, which can lead to both free speech and also bullying. Allow people to remain anonymous and express themselves in a way they could not otherwise. So you might be able to say things online, not even things that are derogatory, but just things that you don't have the confidence to say in real life, whereas your online identity allows you to do that.
So the next slide is all about Facebook. So for this section of the presentation, we thought that we would look into different social media platforms and how in different countries and how different people use them. So Facebook is, as Emily says, is the most popular one to be used. Facebook has just launched a Spanish version. So in Spanish native countries, they are able to access Facebook as if we were the English version. And they're also looking at launching a French and German version as well. We think that Facebook is really important when we came to uni because, like, before I even joined my course, I met people in the audience. Like in my calls, I met Kirsty, Megan. It's all before I got here, so I knew who I was going to be working with. I met all my flatmates before I actually came here. I think it makes it a lot more less scary because you know sort of the people that you want to hang around with because of you've interacted with them on Facebook and stuff.
Do you think that gives you a perception of their identity before you meet them though? So you're already thinking before you get there, well, I like this person, then you have a look at what they're into, and then you get a false perception almost sometimes of what they're actually like, because you could go back to when they're in high school, that not be who they are anymore.
Yeah, no, definitely, that's absolutely true. Like when me and my flat first sat down for our first flat meal together, literally the first thing you said was you're nothing like you are when you speak over the phone, and it's literally such a big thing. And it's like, oh no, we didn't realise how you're interested in this because you don't say that when you're online and stuff. So it was a barrier that we did cross when we get here. Some of my flatmates did have some arguments because of things like Facebook, things like that. But it does cause issues, but then it also connects you with people before you have to make the big jump. So we found it we used it for DSAG, we have a DSAG group, we used it for the presentation, we have it for our assessment group. It's just an easier way of communicating with people, so you can all be in one place and then you can just put when we're saying so oh, you're all going to be here at 1, and you're like, oh yeah, then everyone just comments. It just makes it so much easier than having to text everyone singularly, so we thought it was a really good way of just communicating with everyone. So we just think Facebook's really in the UK.
Okay, so Facebook's currently at number 1 for being the most used, and then Instagram is also part of the top 3, which includes Twitter as well. And the reason why that Instagram is different to Facebook is that you can actually post photos when we write statuses, which means that, well, me personally, I have all my friends on Facebook, but I also have them on Instagram to help know them better. So I have Erin, Charlotte, Kirsty, Denny all on Instagram because they post things on there which they do not post on Facebook. So for example, Charlotte posts pictures of her dog, Erin posts photos of her uni room and her little sister and family members, and it just helps build the friendship a little bit more. And also it's mainly used in America because of the amount of celebrities in the world and based in America. So you've got people like Kylie Jenner, Selena Gomez, Donald Trump, and they post their life on Instagram and get millions of likes because people want to know what they're interested in, people want to know what they're doing, and Instagram gives you the opportunity to either just post once a day, then you have unlimited posts every day. So basically, the more followers you have is normally due to the amount of posts you post, and you let people into your online world and your perception of what you want to be.
Okay, so the next social media we're going to talk about is Twitter. The top 10 Twitter countries per capital use, there's a list of them here, so you can read through those if you
like. We've also got a graph. So this graph is the number of active Twitter users in leading markets. That's based on statistics from 2016. Also, the top 10 countries, number of Twitter users, we've got countries like USA, UK, Canada, things like that.
Can we go just back to the other slide? And just because India's quite high up on the Twitter usage. Where did India fit on their Facebook usage?
Oh, Facebook in India. It's like in the middle. So at the top, obviously, you have America and UK. India, which was really surprising because it was like quite low down. It wasn't very high. And when we sat down to discuss why we thought it wasn't very high, we couldn't figure out why. We just was like, well, maybe they prefer to use Twitter and Instagram because it's like Twitter and Instagram is like a separated Facebook because on Instagram you post photos and then on Twitter you write statuses. So we didn't know whether they just didn't like using Facebook, but it was quite low down, which was really surprising.
We found the same problem when we were researching Russia. Was when you typed in like Facebook analytics for Russia, all you got was USA. There was actually no information that we could find about Russia.
So then we decided to research messenger apps and the countries that they influence. So using Android data from 187 countries, it's determined that messenger apps are actually the most common type of app used around the world. Of the 187 countries that were examined, WhatsApp was the leading one, so it dominates around 55.6% of the world. So a lot of the world use WhatsApp as a way to communicate with others. Facebook Messenger app came in second. That came in 49 countries, including Australia, Canada, the US. After Facebook Messenger, Viber was the third most popular, so this came 10 or more countries, and this showed strong popularity in Eastern Europe, as well as some other countries. So here, we've got a nice little picture in here. So this is Facebook Messenger, so this is more dominant in these parts of the world. This is all WhatsApp, the green, the blue is Viber.
That's a question about BBM. It's the same color as the BBM and Messenger. It's actually people still using BBM in many countries.
Yeah, slightly. It's just above.
Yeah.
It's just above. It's like in between the orange and the blue, just in the middle. There's some little black ones.
But then I feel about 4 years ago when the big BlackBerry hype went up,
It would have been
a lot bigger. But now since the iPhone X came out now and Samsung 8 and BlackBerries are kind of not used that much anymore. I mean, I don't know anybody who has a BlackBerry apart from someone's mum. Like that's about it, because everybody's up for like the new trends, which are the massive debate between Android, Samsung, and Apple and iPhone.
A lot of companies stopped using BlackBerry as well because the BBM side of it isn't supported, so the data was encrypted like WhatsApp is, and so a lot of companies chose either Android or Apple rather than BBM.
So the next section we're going to talk about is how social media influences what we as students and you guys post online. So some questions that we asked was, is your social media pages a pure representation of who you are as a person? I definitely know some of the stuff that I would say to Charlotte, Erin, Emily, I wouldn't say online. So like about our assessment work and stuff, it's stuff we do in person and that. But I don't. Some things that you post online and stuff, I wouldn't say it's a pure representation of who we are as a person. Do you share all aspects of your lives, even embarrassing photos? I don't, but I know that some family members are in the group and stuff went through the discussion of when it's your birthday and your Facebook page becomes the most horrible thing in the world. So it's not, and people don't see them photos unless someone else posts them because you don't really want to post them online. Do you have any photos on your phone which you do not want anyone on social media seeing? So we're going to put this one out to you guys.
Absolutely.
We don't want you to tell us the pictures in general, 'cause we really don't need to know. But do you actually have photos on your phone which you would be horrified if they didn't on social media?
Because
I wouldn't be horrified, but
Yes,
I wouldn't be the person that'd be horrified. It'd be family, extended relatives, friends. You know, the people that just.
Not the picture, who's going to see
That's
it.
why they're not on Facebook and social
So
media.
your phone gets hacked, like, what's going on?
But yeah, so if you just want to like discuss with the person next to you what your feelings are going to be like if an embarrassing photo of you got put on social media.
Okay, right, so what's everyone's opinion so far? So what do you guys think?
I'll put the same.
We also put as well, like, we have pictures like of us parties and stuff. That's a very small representation of what we are really.
Yeah.
We also want that to represent us fully.
Yeah, exactly.
So sometimes it's think about they're not putting in the effort. They're going to go to uni to study. Instead, they go to uni to go party.
And we talked about how our parents as well are social media. Our parents, my parents are African.
I'm going to Ireland, so
They would appreciate it. I can actually post it if I wanted to because I want to make my own decision. I don't want my parents worrying about what I'm doing. I don't want to represent what I'm doing at uni as well. That's people to worry. A small percentage of me is also part of it.
it's just assumptions that you're doing bad at uni. It's just causes a lot of headache for you.
It's also it's like not what you post now is going to affect you, but it's what you put on your Facebook now you forget about, that then your future employer has a look on, scrolls back those years, and then all of a sudden it's you drunk on the floor with your mates, taking a picture, having a laugh, and that's now lost your job.
Yeah.
Like, what do you guys do with that think?
Well, I was just, as you just said that, I was thinking of my own son's photo, which I didn't look at, but he told me. And just as you were finishing that sentence, he didn't realise what he had done. He put something on, he put a comment on, I think he was in a car or something, but it was a company car, that's what he didn't realise. He put something on Facebook, so he uses Facebook and Instagram, same thing, you know, to me. He says, oh, well, put stuff on Facebook because I know there's family members, i.e. me, my sister and the rest of the family, they've all like jumped on the bandwagon. But then there'll be stuff that we put on Instagram that I don't bother looking at, do you know what I mean? But the bit I was going to say, he posted something on he thought it was just him in a car, he was showing off his car, but I said, you were actually driving at the time, and you could see traffic moving. I said, it's a company car, you get sacked for that.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't think he realised, he just thought, oh, it's a nice car. So.
Yeah, well, like prime example of that is that Jack Maynard thing that's happened at the moment. Like he got taken out of the jungle because of something he put on Twitter when he was like 16 years old. That he's lost anything that could happen from I'm a celebrity, and that's millions of pounds basically lost because of something he put when he was younger. That like, yeah, like you said, like with your son, like you think it's fun to show people to be like, it's a bragging culture. We're in a bragging culture. Everyone likes to be like, look how great my life is. But then it's that, oh no, like, I've actually lost so much because of that. What have you guys got?
We were just talking about the same with employers and stuff. Like for my sake, I put everything on Facebook as private, so if someone searches my name, they won't see anything.
Yeah.
And that has to do with the fact that I don't really post that much on my own, so everything that's on my Facebook is people posting. And I don't really have that much control over it. So people looking at my Facebook probably think I'm the biggest party animal because it's just party pictures.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not really out that much partying at all.
Yeah, I guess because they're taking pictures of like in the living room, like me and my cat having a great night.
So I think it's just you have to, like, you can actually put your profiles on private. So it's probably a good thing to do that if you, at least coming out of uni and trying to get a job and stuff like that.
But you also can control what people tell you in.
Yeah,
But the picture will still be there, even if it's on tag.
Because when someone tags me on private, I've got to get notification saying someone tagged you in.
I have the same thing,
yeah.
Especially because my mum just tags me in so many memes. I'm like, Mum, I don't, people need to think I have friends. What about you guys? What have you got?
No.
One of the things is that on phone at the moment, it puts up a picture, like you see you go on Facebook and then it'll say, do you want to make this post with this picture? And it's just a photo that's on the phone. And you're kind of like, no, I don't want to post that. Like, you know, that might be just like a blurred picture you took by mistake or something. You're like, no, why would I want to post that? And it's almost too convenient.
Yeah,
It's linked
it's
to
that accidental click that you suddenly be like, oh no, what's the time?
Yeah.
But has anyone got anything that they'd like to add from what's been mentioned so far?
In relation to the Jack Maynard thing you mentioned, anyone that's used social media in the first 10 years of its existence is like, that could literally just happen to anyone at any point, because it was like, oh my god, yeah, social media, that's so sick, should go nuts and just post everything, it doesn't matter what, all the time, and then it was like, oh, internet laws are a thing now, it's now 2015, we've got really strict internet laws, so now it's like going back 7 years and like you could just go to jail for something you said when you were like 12 to your mate.
Yeah, I think that's really not fair because it doesn't really represent his views right now. So, because when I look back at what I posted as I do it It's nothing controversial really, it's just embarrassing really.
Yeah, it's like I always get that time clock thing from it's like, you posted 7 years ago, you're like, wow, I'm currently having a jacket potato, like, no, we don't care about that anymore.
That does not represent what I'm thinking right now really, so I think it's not fair for him to treat it like that.
Yeah, I mean, you get more life experience as you get older, whereas when you're like so much younger and you're at home and your mate's like, this is hilarious, put this up, you're like, yeah, okay. And then when you're like 24, 25 in a business centre, then someone brings it out, you're like, but obviously like normal people don't have the press going through everything you've ever posted, so to a degree you're safe, but it's that future. Yeah, exactly.
Do you think there's a contrast between like LinkedIn and Facebook?
Yeah, I mean, you're not gonna...
You think a bit more, I think, when you go on something like LinkedIn, the atmosphere around it and the perception of it, you're thinking twice as much as when you tweet.
Yeah.
Like, what should I post? How am I wording this? Is it grammatically correct? And all that sort of stuff.
That goes into like the identity fatigue. Like, obviously, the more social media platforms you have, like some people don't have, like on Twitter, it's so easy to be anonymous on Twitter because it is just, it's nothing really, like it's not like you're changing your profile picture all the time. But then, so you can post whatever you want on there, but then on LinkedIn that's for your potential employers, so you're not going to be like, likes to get drunk every night, like you're not going to put that on there because they'll be like, okay, great for you. But yeah, no, exactly, so
and also some people can't express themselves fully, because for me personally, politically, if I want to work for a company and I'm like what happened last year, I just posted stuff on Facebook, blah blah blah, but if someone just looks into it like, oh, he's supporting someone socially is unacceptable, or people are like, oh, it's weird, so no. Like, for me, so, I'll give an example, this is what happened in London last year.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, after the attack, a lot of Muslims fundraised about 17k, I think.
Yeah.
So people, like for me, I posted about that. Other people didn't appreciate it. So even my mom said to me, she goes, be careful, future employers. They're like, they're seeing your activities, be like, oh, it's not what we're looking for.
Yeah.
It's unfair, basically.
Yeah, it's having, everyone's got a voice, but it's...
But you've got to basically follow what the society accepts.
And I think also now we're more aware that what you post online is not private, or nothing's private online. So I think people are more aware now than they were 10 years ago, when you're like, oh, it's stuff, no one cares. Whereas now it's like, oh. Also, I mean, I've got my mum on Facebook, like when people tag me in things, I'm like, no, she doesn't know about that. But like, I think then you've got like, your grandparents online, not even like people like that, but it's being aware that also you don't have control completely over your social media profiles. And so what you do in real life also is your online life. To a degree they bleed into each other.
I think what was interesting, leading on from your comment, is with Brexit last year, suddenly you had no idea, for me personally, of the political views of any of my friends on Facebook, but suddenly there was very divisive camps appearing, and because Facebook more than Twitter, you choose who to follow on Twitter. So you might have, for everyone on my Twitter feed was very much Remain and blah blah blah. But on Facebook, friends from school and friends, you don't choose them, you don't follow them. They're kind of part of your life growing up and how you network and then mesh with that. That for me politically, suddenly, people were more aware of where they commented on. There was a bit more. There was people falling out online within friendship groups based on that. So you don't really even know your people, your friends, your online friends. You don't know anybody, and I think it's worrying that you have this mystery behind online presence where you think you know people and you don't, and that's when it can get a little bit uncertain.
Yeah,
It's really interesting what you said. Thank you for sharing that.
I think the representation or how your identity is perceived completely depends on how you would then choose or utilise a social media. Like, I don't have a Twitter account. I use Instagram for just sharing my life and stuff like that. I'm a photographer, so it's good for that. And then Facebook, I only use for business and for discussion. I don't post anything. I'm not there like slamming hilarious memes out and sending things to people. I literally just use it for business and like discussion, debate and stuff in forum groups. So like, I have all of my family blocked apart from my brother and my dad. Just on Instagram, I have all of my family blocked. And like my mum, she's like, oh yeah, like you blocked my Instagram. I'm like, yeah, and that's the way it's going to be. And I'm like, you're not getting into my Instagram.
It's a bit interesting. It's a little bit like that with work colleagues. All of the room now. But it's kind of like when
no, it's true.
But what you get is, so I would consider all my colleagues to be friends. But at the same time, there's only, sounds bad, but there's certain people that they'd friend request you, and actually that's part of my life that I'd like to kind of privatise and compartmentalise. I don't put pictures of my son on Facebook, for example, where some people put baby photos on it daily, whereas I protect that. And it's really interesting because it's such a grey area about, you know, where do you draw the line?
Can I just add to that? Because I think when you're new to something as well, when I first started, and particularly with LinkedIn, students got me into LinkedIn. It wasn't something I wanted to do. And that was years ago now. But when people did send invites, I felt guilty if I didn't want them. And then sometimes I would say yes when I didn't really want to, and now I don't care, I just say no if I don't want to. And I think with use, you just think, okay, do I really want you, yes or no, and then you just become, I have become quite ruthless. So if anybody tries to, and I don't like the look, I'm just going to say no.
Well, now you all know. Paul O'Brien, what?
She was like, alright, delete that request.
So guys, what we're going to do now is, because you've shared with us what social media you guys use and why you use it, we literally, when we sat down to plan the presentation, we were talking about global identity. When we looked, as a group, we all say we're friends, but we didn't actually know anything about the people we was working with other than what they're like online. So we was like, so what does identity mean to us? And the things that came out the most was things we like, things we dislike, people we hang around with, social groups we're interested in. So the next activity, we need you guys to come up to the front and join in with us. So what we're going to get you to do is we're going to ask you a group some questions, and then we want you guys, whether you're one side or the other, and then look at who you're standing with and think about whether you would actually think, oh, like when we tried it as a group, I love dogs, had no idea that Ellie was exactly the same to me until we stood and was like, oh, you like dogs as well. So now, when we talk, I'm like, oh, Ellie, look at this photo of my dog. And she's like, oh, don't do. And then these guys are like, oh, look, my photos of my cats. And we're like, no, we don't like cats. So it's like, it's really helpful knowing, because from face value, I never would have known that Ellie likes dogs, and it's because we don't post that online, we don't share that side of us. So if anyone wants to contribute, obviously these have members, want to make a way up. Everyone else, if you want to join in, you're more than welcome to start to the front and join in with us.
We're just going to stop facing you guys, basically.
Yes. You've got to move around.
I'll be experiential, so I'm going to sit here.
Come on, back row.
It's like two tries, isn't it? It's like two tries.
Try leader number one.
Okay, so guys, the first question we're going to ask you is, are you a cat person, which is Megan, or are you a dog person, which is Eloise? And we want you guys to...
So on the cutting edge of political debate, as you can see.
Oh, wow. Guys, look at the people you're standing with. Would you assume they are dog people, or would you assume they're cat people?
Just hand question.
Okay, so the next one's Marmite, yes or no?
Oh,
yes for Megan?
Oh,
no,
yes.
yes,
Say it again.
Oh, yes. Marmite, yes or no?
Marmite,
yes.
yes.
Megan?
Marmite,
no.
no.
Eloise? These are the smart people. She was not.
Right. If you, this one is slightly strange. If you think that Crocs and socks go together, please stand here. If you think Crocs and socks do not go together, please stand Okay, right, got a slightly more controversial one this time. So, when you get on an aeroplane, you have to go through baggage claim, and you go through security and everything. You get on a train, you take whatever you want on a train with you. Do you think, this side is yes, this side is no, that security on airplanes and trains should be the same, or do you think that you're happy with how it is at the moment? This side, you think it should stay the same, this side, not happy.
So this side is train and plane security should be the same. This one's if it's not.
Literally on top of it, that's incorrect.
Which side is it?
The security system.
Yeah, they're the same. So it stays the same if you don't get your badge checked on the train.
This one is if you want
Two policemen at M16 just walking about, so like she just get what? She just get the Santa.
Alright, right. Do one of you guys want to say why you think it should?
Timing. It takes a lot of time. If you're going through the train, through the baggage claim, through the what's it called? Security system. It's literally the train, the other train just commute quickly.
But do you think that could kill you?
It could. It could. Police officers around.
I'm as worried as like getting hit by a cyclist, or getting shot in the back, or getting, I don't know, getting dumped into a
Or
river.
falling down your stairs at home.
Like, these are all things that can happen as much as
We don't want to create a
trying to
fit
get
culture
attacked
of fear.
in some way.
Sorry, I'm not even joining you. I'm not passionate.
Definitely too late. No matter what's happening, if you're on a vehicle that's attacked in some way, it's too
But
late.
you can also get off a train, you can't get off an airplane. So like,
Not when it's moving.
But if it's stopped, the security thing it stops,
Yeah.
you can get off and
Yeah, you've got to
run.
measure
You can't get off an
it.
airplane.
Yeah, if you pop the door on an airplane,
Right, why do you guys think it should be stricter then?
I'd like to feel the safe because getting on an airplane and getting on a train. You know, so if it costs an extra, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes, I think it's worth it.
Making train tickets prices go
Yeah, as
up
long
as
as the price of the train.
Because you've got the security, new security system, everything's going to, the price is going to.
More people to employ.
So the next question we're going to ask guys. So the next question we're going to go for, guys, this side is going to be tea, this side is going to be coffee.
Oh.
You don't get a middle ground, it's one or the other. There is no, it's a hard game.
side was coffee.
Coffee's outside.
Choose not to go for
Everybody happy with that?
I'm trying to think of what I'm trying to remember who I am, sorry.
Paula, this isn't that workshop. I'm trying to remember who I am from all I've lost myself.
Is these that group are evil? Right, so the next one is Quality Street or Celebrations? Quality Street, Celebrations.
I'm definitely going over you now.
Paula's found herself with chocolate.
Yeah.
Strawberry cream.
Chocolate.
Oh, wait, you like the strawberry cream.
Yeah.
I'm definitely over this.
So why is
Yeah, I
Quality
remember
Street
that.
better?
Strawberry cream.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Toffees.
And definitely celebrations kind of help.
You're the first.
Yeah.
Why Celebrations better than Quality Street?
Truffle, like, are you serious? just that one truffle on the box. Than everything.
The Maltese ones always go in my house.
Okay, so the next one is about scones. So we're asking whether you put jam and then cream, or cream and then jam.
What are we? Jam and cream.
Jam and cream.
I thought cream and jam makes sense.
Oh no, I know which one it is anyway. It's
Jams.
Slop on the cream after.
So then it goes to like gross. Cream on
The cream on
first, then
first,
it's
because they put hot
It's
jam
almost like, no, it's all in the white bit.
Yeah, thank you.
It's clotted.
Alright, yeah.
One's coming next.
We're not going to ask your opinion on this one. Alright, so I get left with the slightly harder questions. Do you agree with the death penalty? This side for yes, this side for no. Slightly different to Jan.
So we're getting more controversial.
What would you, yes or no, no of yes?
Yes,
No.
yes.
Yes.
That's no.
Oh, no.
But it's situational.
We're not going to ask you your
Yeah.
opinion on this one. This is solely
Just
to
in
see.
case you start fighting. Okay, so the last question that we've got, Jaffa cake, cake or biscuit?
Cake.
Biscuit.
It's a cake.
I'm getting in on this one.
Jaffa cake.
It's not cake. There's proof for this one as well. So you don't have to actually write on it. There you go with
Definitely
biscuit.
cake.
You sure?
I've left the, I'm not
What's
like,
that now,
is it, like
Olivia?
the sponge bit, would it class it as a biscuit or a cake?
It's cakey.
Does anyone actually know?
Megan
already knows the answer.
So we're in the right section here because she doesn't write.
So it is actually a cake because it's whether someone's a cake or biscuit is kind of determined like how much rises in the oven, and if it rises, then it is a cake. I'm looking at you.
Alright, I went with a biscuit.
And they have filling. The filling is the jelly of the chocolate.
And it's Jaffa cake.
I don't know why they sell it in the
Right guys,
biscuit.
after the intense Jaffa cake today, you are happy to go back to your seats. Now, thank you very much.
Okay guys, what's the walking their seats? We just kind of want to ask you, did you find out anything about anyone else in this room that you didn't really expect? How did you find the game?
Do you know how to question who you are as a person?
I can't remember. That is an important point of social media, because if you tell your fibs, you won't remember.
Exactly.
Always, will you?
Keep it
Am I
diary.
authentic?
The thing is, are they going to go with what everyone else goes with, or are they going to go with what they actually think? So.
All the views that you expressed in that game, would you post them online?
Yeah?
Okay.
No.
Okay, which one would you?
I wouldn't put death penalty online.
Okay.
I think it's asking for trouble.
So yeah, well done.
Yeah, so we found when we were coming up with the game, it's how controversial were we thinking you guys were willing to go?
I thought we were going to do Brexit at one point.
We didn't think about getting political, but we thought it's not that kind of presentation.
This is like a small focus group of people. We could have gone way deeper than that. I had absolutely no qualms at all.
Yep.
So, why is it only certain aspects of your life you show on social media? Well, I've got a nice little story to tell you.
Story.
Yeah, story time. My sister is 12, and she's obsessed with social media and YouTube. She watches YouTubers every day. Whenever I go into her room, she's got laptop, iPad, phone. I don't know how she concentrates. TV is sometimes on as well. And so my mum and I took the time to explain to her that she has no idea who these YouTubers are. She doesn't really know them. They're not her friends. And she could not understand it at all. So she just completely was like, no, I don't know who they are. I know who they are, no. And she actually got really upset because we were sort of saying to her, you only see the person they want you to see. So I think that's quite scary that the generation that is now up and coming is thinking that these people that are they friends online with or they see online and watch online are their friends. You know, they don't know who they are, they don't know anything. My mum turned around to my sister and went, she could be a murderer for all you know. And my sister was like, no, there's no way, she's got children, like, everything. But we're just trying to get across to her that actually, no, she's not who you think she is. Your tuning shows
So doesn't read that as well. People can show whatever they want to read.
basically. But that was really thing to get across, especially using social media. Yes, you obviously don't show everything in real life as well, but using social media, because she's so active on it, was the best way to get her to try and understand. She just could not understand for her. So that is why we want to think about certain aspects of your life across social media. So how do you represent yourself and how do other people see you online? And my sister's always commenting on YouTube posts and everything, and I'm not really into that at all, but she got really excited when she was watching a live stream and this person mentioned her YouTube name app. She makes videos and posts them on YouTube, it's a little bit of fun. All of her friends do it. So it's just quite scary, that's all I want to share with you. That, and just to think about how your social media life affects your actual life.
I'm just going to jump in on that quickly because you reminded me. My mum's friends are crazy, but she's a prime example of the two very different sides of who you meet online. So one of her friends met this man online. This was before the days of Tinder's, was like plenty of fish. And she said, she was like, I've met this man. He's incredible. I'm going to marry him. We're going to have children together. It's going to be amazing. My mum met this man and was like, not sure, something doesn't quite twig. At the same time, her other friend had also met someone. Same website, same story, going to marry this man, great life together. Man A ended up killing her. And I know. And it was all over the papers, and she said, at the time, she was like the police had asked her, was there anything that he said that made you question him? Online, literally squeaky clean, like you could not have got a man that looked more perfect. Man B, she did end up marrying him, they do have children together, and they have a very happy marriage. So it's not always what you see online, even when you meet the people, you never know someone completely, whereas it's the same website, same experience to a degree, but the end result is completely different, which is something to think about with social media.
Psychopath plans the murder long beforehand, though, and he was meticulous.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's that
still
thing to think about of who you meet online is not always who you think they are.
I do that a lot, just meet online.
Okay, right.
So if someone is very, you can tell if someone's being very clean. Say I'm checking up someone and it's squeaky clean, there's question mark.
Yeah.
Logically, nobody will be that clean.
Yeah, so now we're going to talk about are people in today's society too judgmental. So, like, trolling is something that you see online, it's quite popular. And plenty of people, sorry, it happens to plenty of people and it's significant. And it's hard to stop because it's online and you can take down the account and someone can make a new account. It's not like in real life, if I went up to you and was like, I don't like you, but I can't then be like tomorrow, hi, I'm different Kirsty, I don't like you again. Like, that's not how real life works. Whereas, sorry, most people, especially nowadays, just take it on the chin and like, okay, that's your opinion, you're entitled to it. But some people are more sensitive and do live in more of a bubble, and what people say to them online, they do take into the future. And people don't necessarily have control over you. You have control of what you say and what you do. You don't have control of how other people react to it. So, which point does it become trolling, and which point does it become cyberbullying? That's it. What do you guys think? How far do you think someone is allowed to take something in your mind before you go, this is no longer okay?
I would say stop. It's not fair anymore. After that point, that's bullying. Before that, it's all banter and jokes. But as soon as our person says, this is it, don't mention it. If they mention it as bullying, then that's a different matter.
Yeah, it depends if they make it personal. Say you're saying something online and this is your opinion. Someone else would say, I don't agree with that opinion because of blah, blah, blah reason, fine. But if they're like, I don't like you as a person, then that's like very personal, and it's not really necessary.
Do you think at one time is okay, or do you think stop it the first time, or do you think 3 or 4 times is okay? Or
I think if someone says something that's personal once, that's a step too far. You have to put the boundary, otherwise you're accepting too much.
And also though, with saying that, so I am 5'1", I don't amount to very much. People my whole life say to me, you're short. I'm aware I'm short, I'm okay with that. Whereas my brother is not very tall for a man, he gets very offended by that. But do you think that based on how you interpret something depends on how other people think things are okay? So like if someone says, Kirsty, you're short, I'm like, oh my god, well, this is brand new information. Whereas if they then keep putting it out, then does it become bullying? If I then suddenly go, actually no, I'm not okay with this anymore, do I still have the right to say, no, this isn't okay if I let it go on that long?
I think you always have it right, yeah, because essentially it's a personal boundary that someone's crossing. But they shouldn't be wasting the time saying rude things anyway. Like they shouldn't. Yeah. It's not constructive. It's destructive.
Depends how deep, not how deep it goes, like how
you see it,
and how you interpret it. Like people, like I was involved in an argument this morning. It wasn't even to do with me. I just started jumping in to say my bit. A friend, and this person, like it was an argument to do with styling for like, it was like a brand released like a catalogue for a new collection next year, and then they're just, all these people will just absolutely going nuts at each other, and loads of people were like really educated, informed arguments, and it was like blah 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 blah. But then other people were like, "You're so ugly, you stupid," like whatever, like throwing all these like loads of mad words out, and then like. And it just absolutely descended into chaos. And then the admin just like literally shut it down and was like, everyone that said anything horrible like on this post has just gone banned. But there were people there that I'm friends with who were like, well, this is just funny because they're just speaking out of their ass. Like this is like I don't even know who this person is, and they're spending 30 minutes out of their day to just absolutely go off on them and take such an assault on someone. But then there were people there who were like, shit, like how do I get back at them, because this is like I really don't like what they're saying.
So I'm hurt, and I'm going to hurt you.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Right, that drags us on nicely to our next point.
So me and Ellie took control of the next section. We decided we wanted to explore this idea of saying something horrible and then it become bullying. So we came up with an idea to do an online scenario to show you guys of how things have panned out. So me and Ellie, just in context, went for a night out with Charlotte and we took a photo together. So the photo is on the slide. The comments that are around the photo, me and Ellie have actually made up. No one's actually sent them in. They are really fake. We just got to emphasise that. But we wanted to show you where is the point where you would take the photo down or not post something like that again because of the comments that have been posted. Yeah. So this is the photo. We have decided that this is an hour after posting, and these are the comments that have come up underneath the photo. So you've got the green ones are the ones that are fine, they're nice, people are commenting on where we're going, and there's one that emphasises what is wrong with Ellie's trousers, right? So then we thought about it. At this point, that's 1 out of 4 people that is not happy with the photo we've posted. So then we said, after this point, I just want to show a hand, would you take the photo down, or would it influence you to not post something like this again because one person has commented?
So can we have hands up if you're going to take it down after an hour? And then, and hands up if you're going to keep it up.
Okay. And then we've done it again, but this time it's been up for 3 hours. And as you can see, there are more red comments. Well, it's even. We've got 3 red and 3 green. And the emphasis, most of the comments are aimed at Ellie's trousers again. So this is the main focus. So after this point, there's now as many good comments as there are bad ones. Would you take the photo down? And would it influence what you post in the future?
We're going to have hands up again if you take it down. And hands up if you keep it up. And then the last one is after 9 hours, and we're doing it purposely, is there's more bad comments than good. So if you put a photo on and there are more bad comments than good, is it going to influence you keeping that post up? And also to take into consideration, we only did it in a time lapse for 9 hours. So like between in your own minds, if it carries on for like a day, 2 days, 3 days, and the comments keep getting worse, from this point, are you going to take it down?
And will it influence what you would post?
So the question is again, after 9 hours, would you take it down? Show of hands. After, well,
You would.
would you take it down?
Oh, I just not my confidence. Like I just.
Would it influence what you post in the future?
Probably.
Would you post a photo like that again?
Probably wouldn't post another photo of me in this trials.
And then can I hand it if you keep it up? Okay. Can I have an example of why you would keep it up?
I personally would take that in my stride and think, well, that's awesome, I'm just going to do more of what I'm doing because you don't like it, and that's absolutely fine. Really. I don't really see, like, I see thousands of comments like that a day from, not to me, but to other people, and it's, I don't know, it's become, kind of becomes accepted in a way, like how people, like, more people will be likely to say, this is bad, do this, I don't like this, and they'd be like, oh, that's so amazing, like, this is great, because no one wants to just scroll through 500 comments that say, you look amazing. Yeah.
So basically, after this online scenario, me and Debbie sat down and we said to ourselves, would we take this down at any point? And it's basically to show two different types of people on social media, Debbie being one, I being another, Charlotte being one, you being another. What was your opinion on it?
Just a general opinion, I would have taken it down after the first horrible comment, just for the fact of it's not worth it, and I just
Why though? Because
Just- just because of the horrible comment, I would, in my, like, sitting there looking on my phone and just be like, it's not worth it, I don't really want to hear your horrible comments.
Exactly. So all you can do is either just ignore that person fully, completely. That's it. Ignore it, basically.
Yeah,
You don't need to feel
yeah.
Well,
And you have the choice though, you can delete the comment if you don't like it. That's like a choice as well.
But is that ego massaging then? Because you're like, you were mean to me, so I removed your meanness. So now everyone thinks I'm fabulous again.
And then people who have seen that comment are like, well, you just deleted that comment. Why have you just deleted that comment?
Why did that comment specifically? I think personally depends on what that person, if let's say I post a picture and my closest friends say horrible things like, oh, I know they're joking, trying to banter, I'm just like, okay, cool. But if someone I don't know or barely know, and it's being mean or she's being mean to me, all I can do is just ignore. I'm not going to delete the comments at all. I just know this person is not my cup of tea.
Is it not a reflection of them
as
well, not you? So it doesn't matter what you look like in that photo, them being mean to you is a reflection of how crap they are as a person, not how crap your photo is.
And I guess you don't have to keep them on your social media, you can just get rid of them and choosing to have them in your life.
Yeah. So that's like one side of it. So Demi would take it down after one post. There is a reason why I'm wearing these trousers today, so just not going to wear them. But it's just to prove that after 9 hours and days and weeks, more bad comments, I really couldn't care. That is me as a person. I will not take down anything on social media, and I will not let any bad comments influence posting this again. I would probably, I'm quite posh, I'm stupid, I'm not going to lie. So I will probably wear these trousers next week on the night out because I'm really not close to her. And I will probably, 8 out of 10, put another photo in these trousers on social media. And if, like the online example, people wrote more bad comments, I wouldn't carry on posting photos in these trousers because I personally love them and that is just me. And people are entitled to like certain things. And at the end of the day, people aren't going to like everything about you, but it's up to you whether you want to like condemn yourself into being fitted into a stereotype or whether you want to break out of that box. And that is basically the online scenario which we wanted to kind of get the answer from.
Yeah, we also wanted to show you from the on-site, like what we've posted and the comments and stuff, how what you post online is part of who you are. So them comments, we didn't actually post the thing, but I'm probably thinking because we went out with Charlotte would be posting, Erin would post, all of our friends would post on their nice things, that's part of who we are, because we're friends with them. But if you get people negatively commenting, it automatically, as just who you are, depends who you are, like anyone would care. But for me, I'd probably be a bit like Charlotte, I'd probably take a couple and then be like, no, hold on, I can't be bothered with this, and I'd just end up deleting it. So it's just about who you are, and we think that it's a lot about how people see you, is how you see yourself sometimes. And it's a big thing about how your confidence can be changed by what someone else says to you.
And there is a lot of people on the internet now, which brings us to our next slide. Megan?
So how many people use the internet and are online? So the internet is used by 3.2 billion people. That's some statistics from 2015. And also, 70% of them are young people. So 70% of the world's youth are online. So maybe about that as well.
So that then comes to influences. There is so many younger generations online rather than older, and this is probably because of the new apps, the Instagram, the Snapchat, Tinder being one. A lot of young people use Tinder, and a lot of people are not embarrassed to say that they've ever had Tinder. But what does that mean for other people on the internet? So it says here, Common Sense Survey found that many teens who are active online fret about how they're perceived, and girls are particularly vulnerable. So if you just want to read the 3 percentages which are written on there, and then the bottom 2 quotes are what I have said. Sorry, I haven't referenced them because I will explain them. So it was my birthday while I was at uni, and we was two weeks in, just a week after Freshers Week. I just met my flat friends, just met my course friends, and let's just say my friendship back at home, my group is quite a very big group of boys and girls. And when it came to my 19th birthday, there was a lot of awful photos of me posted on my wall for friends, family to see. Now I wouldn't have minded that because that's happened every year since the age of being 13. But I now have a new circle of friends, uni friends, and I didn't know whether they wanted to see me being absolutely plastered in Hull near like the river. And there was also photos of me, just for girls out there who fake tan, they understand how you look the morning after the night you fake tan. You are like the annoying orange. And there is a photo of me on Facebook looking like the annoying orange with no makeup on. And I wasn't too happy with my friends posting that when I had a new circle of friends. I felt a little bit uncomfortable, and I was just a bit like, great, so now I don't want my university friends to have a certain perception of me. However, on the other side, it was my best friend's birthday last week, and let's just say I didn't post nice photos of her on Facebook. She didn't post nice photos of me, so then I then took it upon myself to post ugly photos of her, mugshots, precisely. But as my quote says, when I go to post ugly photos of my friends for a laugh online, I do not take into consideration their feelings if they are going to be hurt. Because to me it's banter. If someone gets posted on your birthday, it's like when your parents post baby photos on your wall for your birthday, it is embarrassing. But is there a difference between a baby photo and an ugly night out photo? I think there is.
You should see some of my baby photos.
I mean, I'm a really cute baby, I'm not going to lie, I do not look like the night out photos while being at uni are really not attractive. But it doesn't stop me from posting them on other people's wall for their birthdays, for congratulating them for passing the car, for example. It really doesn't matter to me. So I just want to put across the point that although I don't like it happening to me, but I'm okay with doing it to somebody else, is that okay?
No, because if you know your friends, properly know your friends, you know what they want.
So you know the barrier to cross?
Yeah, because for me personally, I don't want my family to see me doing bad stuff, so my boys know like this picture is prohibited.
Yeah. So they have certain photos. Yeah.
Like amongst your group of like close friends, no matter how heinous a photo can be, like and how diabolical it is, you know there are certain ones. You don't take into account that person. You take into account the people that they have on Facebook, their family and friends. You basically post. If say you just think, would I post this on my own Facebook for my family to see? No. So I'm gonna post it on theirs. But you still post like funny or light-heartedly bad.
Like Snapchat, if my friend wants to post something of me doing bad stuff on Snapchat, I wouldn't mind because I've got no family from back home, no friend, nothing like this. They'll see what I'm doing. Snapchat is all okay, as long as for me personally, I've got no family or someone trying
to you do on Facebook
go and tell my family what I'm doing. This is my worst nightmare.
But there is a lot of people, so Sarah for example, from back at home, she has no family on Facebook, her family do not believe in having Facebook and that. So although family won't see it and that, she doesn't mind it being posted because her family don't see it. Now with me, I'm a little bit different because what you see with me is what you get, and and my family know that. My family has seen plenty of photos that are not like basically nights out photos. I'm not gonna like be around the bush. But and my mum is just like me. Me and my mum are like the same person. So I don't feel embarrassed when the photos get put on of me straight away. But then if I know uni friends who I've just met and they don't know that side of me, then I feel a bit worried about it. But now, if my birthday was again next week, Charlotte would be putting up with photos of me on because they know that it's okay to do that for me because I've already told them, they've met me as a person, they know my family, my background, they understand that they can post what they want because it's not going to shock anybody. Does that make it a little bit different?
Is it about the impact then? Are you saying it's not necessarily what you post, it's the impact?
It's a bit of both really, like which one do you take into consideration more? Is it a really ugly photo or is it you don't want certain people on someone else's friends list to see it? Do you take into consideration both?
Like just adding on to what Ellie said, it was absolutely hilarious when we just made friends and it was her birthday because the photos were just unreal. I just remember laughing at them, it was hilarious. But there's been a couple of nights, and I'm sure Charlotte can agree with me, where some of us have gone a bit overboard, fallen over, someone's taken a really hilarious photo, but if that ended up on my Facebook, like Ellie tagged me, I'd be like ringing my mum and dad like, no, that didn't happen, like, I'm not like that at all. It's just because my family know who I am and they respect the person I am. So if they're seeing me like falling over in the street because I'm really drunk, it's just not a representation of who I am before I came to uni. So we just wanted to...
You can't just keep up the picture, the image that you give to your parents. That's what
You need to keep up the 16-year-old charade.
Exactly.
Honestly,
I don't know what vodka is, I just down the whole bottle.
As soon as you get to 16, it's like, yeah, I'm just perfectly behaved forever and nothing bad ever happens. Until you get caught out and then...
It's a storm. FaceTime my mum at 11 o'clock at night being like, yes, I'm in bed, it's an early night, this is why I have no money because I just spent all my time in bed and then hang up the phone, let's go. Yeah.
So we just spoke about us. We are from, well, I'm from the UK. But what about people who came over to university who are not from England?
How important is social media in your country?
Well, really, really important. Well, on a scale of 1 to 10, it's 9.
Okay, what's the most commonly used social media platform in your country?
Facebook.
And how do businesses advertise in your country?
It's not really good advice.
Okay. Is it online or in newspapers?
Mostly online.
Mostly.
Kirsty, do you just want to quickly just briefly talk about that?
So that's my friend Andrea, she's from Romania. She's just been living in England since August. And she only talks to her family via FaceTime and Skype because she can't afford to go home. And so social media in her life, it doesn't matter what we're doing, she's always messaging someone on Facebook or something, just because that's the only time, the only way she can afford, because it's free, to contact her family. So it does have a huge impact on her life. But she said that businesses in Romania don't really advertise as much, whereas here we have radio and like on TV and things. And I asked her afterwards, like, do you get a lot of TV adverts? And she's like, no, it's mostly like, you know where the business is that you want to go to, so you go to that business. It's not as publicised as it is in England.
So maybe because is it Romania, is it?
Yeah.
Maybe it's because it's a developing country as well, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's one of the reasons why she came to England.
Do you want to just briefly talk about what's on the slide now?
So from gaining knowledge of influencers on social media and what makes people share what they do, has this given you a chance to reflect on your own social media profiles and what you share with the world and why you share these things in particular? So is there anything, are you going to leave here today thinking more consciously about what you post online, or do you think you'll think as consciously as you did before? Did you find anything out in here that you didn't know about yourself?
As long as it's acceptable to my parents,
Yeah, I'm not going to tag you in anything now on Facebook.
And I think also another question is, when you see somebody else post something online, are you now going to second think and be like, you might not agree with that for posting it, but in the back of your mind be like, well, to be fair, they might see it deemable to post it and they might want to post it. So do I have the right to give the opinion that because I don't think it's right, it shouldn't be on there?
You can give your opinion. Your opinion counts, but at the end of the day, it's another person, it's whatever you can do with it. But if the picture includes you and you don't want it, if they then say no, I'm not going to take it down just to for banter, and you're not seeing the banter, report to whatever you want as soon as possible for that. Once my cousin just added me something, posted something to me, I didn't like the comment, I deleted it, said no, I put inappropriate sexual blah blah blah. It wasn't. It's just to get us off as soon as possible.
I think it's kind of like live and let live. And also you should treat people how you like to be treated.
So we just want to say to you guys before you go, thank you so much for interacting with us. Honestly, we thought that game was just not going to work at all, but it really did work because you guys got involved and stuff, so we really appreciate it.